something that they did versus Rogue, and maybe get Vedius and Mickey to chime in a little bit around what you like and dislike, this tank composition and, how it rolled over Rogue.
So just talk to me about Zach. Is this something you can play support? Is this something that's super broken now? What do you think?
Well, you can definitely play it support.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's any good matchups for it, but you can. I think they mostly just pick it for the team comp because they have a lot of really hard engage, and the enemy team has 2 immobile carries. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think the lane matchup is that important. You're just playing it for team comp.
Yeah, I think that's something that we also talked a lot, or the broadcast talked a lot about yesterday, where it feels like that when you're playing against a Zach, you can't really move, which then just gives Rekkles all the freedom to kind of just play very easily on the AD carry. He talks about it on PGL as well, where he's just like sitting back, I don't really have to do anything, just last hit because my team does all the work for me.
Well, let's talk about the AD carries and the bot laners, the 2v2s here. Hylissang has been a man of much criticism, shall we say, in the last few weeks, but looked a lot cleaner yesterday. Destiny, on the other hand, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what my thoughts are. So, Mickey, what do you make of the 2 duos and how they're going to face off today?
I think they're both really good. I think Healy has some off games on Nautilus. He's kind of like me. We do into Nautilus a lot. Destiny has some pretty good games on like Leona, Nautilus, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I expect, well, the bot lane matchup to go in Fnatic's favor because I think they know how to draft better.
Oh, really?
Around it, yeah.
Do you think that they play towards bot as much as they used to?
Yeah, I think they play more towards bot than Origin at least.
Oh. I mean, I think that's fair, especially when we think about how Upset usually plays the lane, which is pretty defensively. But is there anything specific, do you think, about their playstyle that makes them stronger as a bot lane?
About Fnatic bot lane?
Yeah.
They just play very aggressive because of Hylissang. He like tries a lot of crazy stuff, and I think they're very good at setting up waves for dives or just like covering dives if they have a slow push stacking against them. So yeah, that's the biggest thing, I think.
How much mid lane interference do you think there is as well? Because I know that something that, I mean, Perks and Caps likes to do a lot is, or well, Caps one was a mid laner anyway, was roam towards either side lanes, often towards bot. But Nemesis actually hasn't roamed a lot this split. Do you think it's something that he just hasn't done yet, or do you think it's something that he does like to do and is very good at?
I think he likes to do it, but I think most of the time he just safe TP a lot and TP his bot if there's needed,
okay.
but he doesn't really roam much except for like TF or something like that.
That's fair. That makes sense.
Well, we're about to dive into draft as Origen take on Fnatic in our match of the week. So, gentlemen, where are expectations for draft here? Are there some priority picks that you just absolutely don't want to give away to respective opponents, Vedius?
Well, Rakan ban seems to be the thing that always gets thrown out towards Hylissang, which is usually a sign of respect. The Gragas is also directed towards Xerxe. What are your thoughts in terms of priority bans right now, Mickey?
Well, I think they're banning Set because they don't really play it themselves. They haven't played it this split so far, so they have to take it away from Bwipo. And then Fnatic responded with the Karthus because, well, OG played a lot of Karthus. Maybe they even ban Ornn next. I think OG might go for like an AD carry ban and then pick the first AD because there's like 2 strong ADs right now are MF and Aphelios, so they might ban one of them and pick the other. But I guess they ban Braum. Okay, that's interesting.
Why do you think it's interesting?
Because I don't think it's like a needed ban, or I mean, they probably have like some first pick support in mind, but I don't think Braum ban is needed because it's not a very good blind or anything. So.
Do you think their strategy would ever be to try and force Hylissang onto Nautilus?
They could try, yeah. Maybe it's a good strat, but I don't think he will fall for it. I don't think he'll take the bait.
So Soraka is open. Surely it's first pickable.
Yeah, Soraka should definitely be banned on red side by Fnatic, but I guess they left it open, so OG just picks it.
Oh man, I remember the last time Nukeduck ran that Soraka for OG. The ambulance was fantastic. The team ran away with the game. Now, what is the response from Fnatic?
Do you think the Soraka could ever be played in support, or do you think it's primarily a top mid flex?
I think it's just basically top mid, maybe even AD carry, but support I think is too weak. You kind of need a tank, and if you play like Soraka with an AD carrier to squish into gankable, I think, yeah, Ornn should probably get locked in here, so they take it away from OG. And then maybe a jungler, maybe like a Lee or something. Maybe even Aatrox.
Yeah. I think Aatrox would actually be pretty safe blind. I know it's something that we play a lot, but you also know that Alphari could pick the Camille, which is something that he did the last time they played against the Soraka. And you're also giving away where the Ornn is going, so you remove the potential to be able to flex it top and mid. I think the Aphelios pick is obviously pretty safe and something that Rekkles likes to play a lot. And then, wow, the immediate bot lane. So tell me what you think of this bot lane already from Origen.
I think, well, MF is like the second best pick after Aphelios, so they want to take it away before Fnatic has a chance to ban it. And I think Nautilus is pretty safe blind. I guess that's why they banned the Braum as well. So Hilly has to kind of go like Leona or some other counter pick that he has prepared. But yeah, probably just going to be a Leona Nautilus matchup.
Pike game, maybe? Do you think about it?
I don't think Pike is that good here. Oh, I guess Pantheon. That's pretty good, yeah.
Ooh. I think the Pantheon is likely to go into the jungle.
Yeah.
I think that it can obviously be played in top, mid, jungle, or support. I don't know how much prevalence it's seen in the support position, but I do know that it's a pretty flexible champion.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad on support. You can kind of always put it bot and be fine with it. You just need to pair it with something that can follow up on your stun. For like, you can even play Taliyah Pantheon still, like Griffin did.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, we haven't seen Pantheon in Fnatic hands at all. The Ornn has been played by Nemesis twice. Bwipo has not played it yet this year. He's played 8 unique champions in their 9 games, so I'm very intrigued to see where this draft is going to continue to play out, as Aatrox is now the next ban there, Vedius.
Why do you think Fnatic banned away the Aatrox?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. They haven't played it themselves this split yet, right?
I think they had one game on it. Yeah, against Nocturne top lane.
And it was a victory
that one.
for Bwipo.
Actually, yeah. I'm not sure why they're banning it, because, well, Viva played it a lot last year. I guess they want to reduce, like, the amount of top laners that Alphari can play, because maybe they're just putting Ornn top or something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because you would imagine that next pick, Fnatic would look to lock in their support. Either the potential Leona, Pike is a little bit risky. I think Pike is always scary because like, against Soraka, you don't guarantee those executes, right?
Yep, very much. And it's also not a very good lane against Nautilus.
That's fair. So, in terms of last bans for Origen, the only thing I can think of right now is that Origen is looking at a Rise possibility, given that they banned away the Cassio and they also banned away the Leona.
I think Hyli kind of has to go for like some peel support right now. I think maybe like a Thresh or something could be good since they banned Braum away. And Braum Aphelios is a pretty strong lane, so I think second bet would probably be Thresh Aphelios or some other kind of peel support that he can play.
I think that's fair.
Waiting for a few seconds. Nicely done, Mickey. The Thresh is currently hovered. A few seconds away before they lock that in, and then we'll find out some information where this Ornn and this Pantheon are going to go once we see OG's last picks.
Yeah, I think that's what Fnatic's waiting for. They want a little bit more information. Where is the Soraka going to go? Would you try and put the Soraka into the Ornn lane as much as possible?
Yeah, probably. It seems like you just get a free lane. You have scale for free, so you're just going to be probably stronger and outscale them.
I think that makes the most sense. For Origen right now, they have to blind pick something. With Cassio gone, Rise is something they could consider. And I know that it's something that Nukeduck does like to play a lot as well. And again, the great thing about Rise is he can be flexed between mid and top. But the expectation is that he would more likely go into the mid lane.
And of course, that Thresh, by the way, 2 games played for Hylissang, both of them victories. Himself a 0-0-12 scoreline. First time he played it this split.
I think they need some AD jungle here now. Maybe like a Lee Sin. I think Xerxe did play some Lee Sin before. Or a Rek'Sai. I'm not too sure about the Rek'Sai pick, but yeah.
What worries you about the Rek'Sai?
I think it's like not that good to pick that late into the game. And well, they're kind of... I'm not sure if picking it on blue side is that good, because on blue side you kind of want to play to bot, but enemy has a Thresh, so it's a bit hard to gank.
Right.
But yeah. Wait, okay.
Ooh. So they are actually... Yeah, so it looks like the Pantheon is actually going in towards the top lane.
Yeah.
And do you think they want to... Surely they want to play this into the Soraka, right? That's their goal.
Yeah, they probably want to just dive Soraka all the time.
Yes.
And then bot lane just play safe and skill, because they're against blue side Rek'Sai. It's very scary to play as a bot lane on the red side.
Yeah, this Fnatic comp feels super strong to me. It feels like that it has good early game options, it has really good scaling, it has insane roam power with the Pantheon ultimate and the Taliyah ultimate. What are your thoughts, Mickey?
Well, Origen does have Soraka, so they might just win it. But yeah, I do like Fnatic's comp as well, yeah. I think they drafted well.
I know you were a little skeptical about this Rek'Sai, and I think I'm in line with you right now. That seems to be the odd pick in the draft coming out from Origen. But do you think that the Soraka pick alone is enough to actually help with all the dive that's going to be coming out from Fnatic to actually keep Upset alive in this situation?
I think it should be enough, yeah, because it's not nerfed yet. But I'm just not sure about the Ryze Rek'Sai pick, because I think with Ryze you kind of want to play on side lane.
Yes.
But with Nautilus and Soraka you kind of want to fight more.
Yes.
So I'm not sure about the Ryze pick, but yeah. I guess we'll see.
Well, we're loading up into game. Thank you so much for the draft guidance here, Mickey and Vedius, for adding in your opinion here. We're going to jump into game in just a moment, and as I said already, I really want to prioritize the fact that Vedius and Mickey can discuss and converse throughout the course of the game, so only if the team fights are really, really chaotic and over the top will I jump in on this one. It's such a pleasure to have a pro player on the desk with us. And for our match of the week, seeing Misfits and G2 just losing games. For OG and Fnatic, sorry, Mickey, you're right there. For OG and Fnatic, this is just such a great situation to be in. And the top of the table, still extremely, extremely exciting. So let's jump into our match of the week, OG versus Fnatic. This is where you go, Vedius. I pointed at him. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I was waiting to get into the game. We're already going to see some level 1s. Ooh, okay. So, Fnatic do have an insanely strong level 1. Destiny forced to use his hook very early. But Fnatic aren't actually going to get much deep vision off the back of that. I imagine, Mickey, that they were mainly just looking for a pick, seeing if they could catch anyone off guard.
Yeah, I think Fnatic should probably base on one of them and get a red trinket and maybe sweep their topside jungle, because they should know that Origen will ward their topside jungle in return. So yeah, I would expect that, but I guess no one's getting a red trinket. And yeah, I guess...
you sound so disappointed.
I guess Origen bot lane has to leash, and maybe they want to do like 3 camps into bot gank, which is pretty good on Xerxe. And I'm not sure why Fnatic is starting topside though. I think they should maybe start bot side and then try to dive top.
Do you think... In my head, Talia would consider doing a full clear top and then looking for early gank top, like level 3, level 2 gank top. Well, not, I mean Pantheon level 2, Talia level 3.
That could happen, yeah. But I think maybe she wants to get her blue buff.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The fact that she's starting top could also mean that she's looking for a counter gank in bot.
Yeah, but I guess Xerxe is spotting top. Maybe he's going to defend the dive or something. And on bot lane, well, they're just kind of trading. I think early levels, Aphelios Thresh should win because Aphelios kind of outranges MF with his green weapon.
Yeah.
And Thresh just outranges Nautilus as well. And if Nautilus hooks in, they can basically just kill him if they wait out the aftershock and then Thresh plays him back and ignites him.
Right.
Since also MF has cleanse instead of heal.
Yeah, and we can see the waves stacking up. I would imagine that a dive very early on is unlikely. But one of the advantages that it does have is it produces a stacking wave back, right? Which, something that you talked to me about is sometimes Nautilus likes to let the wave push in so that because you have such great gank setup, you can then use that as an advantage to actually make a play bot. Do you think this is something that Origen will look to do?
I mean, they probably should, yeah, since they also have blue side Rek'Sai. And, well, they can't really push the lane anyway, so the only thing they can do is just get pushed in and look for a gank. Oh, I got hooked.
A bit of damage down onto Destiny. We can actually see both junglers actually sitting around topside, and Nukeduck is even roaming up. He's pushed in mids. We can see that Selfmade has actually done a full topside clear, and Origen is looking for a dive.
See whether or not Nukeduck will be able to land this out. Seismic shove directly onto Xerxe. The threaded volley does a lot of damage. I definitely was expecting a little more, but good play from Selfmade.
Yeah, and the Soraka is in a position where during the early levels, she hasn't been killed, which is great. She's also going to get this wave to bounce back towards her, which is also good. And Bwipo so far hasn't been able to take advantage of the strong early laning power of Pantheon, but now that he's hit level 3, I would imagine that he's going to have a lot more threats in this 1v1.
Yeah, I think for sure, like right now they should start to look for a gank stop, because if they land one Pantheon W, they probably just one-shot him.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah. And then I think OG should just look for ganks bot. Because also Fnatic kind of don't have wards because Thresh has a sweeper. So they only have one ward for, well, the whole lane phase. Oh, okay.
I love how all of these early decisions, you're talking about, Mickey, and then Fnatic is doing like the exact opposite of everything that you suggest.
Maybe they're just too smart and I'm not that smart.
But I do have actually like a kind of a slightly disconnected one, but like, isn't it interesting that you've got such varying decision making? Of course, we've got the God vision, so we can see the entire map, and that helps make those inform the decisions you're going to make. But right now, Xerxe is moving himself into this bottom lane. Doesn't really look like there's much available though.
Yeah, OG bottom just wants to push out this wave and base, probably. So they asked Rek'Sai to counter gank in case like Talia comes bot, since they saw her on the ward that he cleared. And now, well, Rekkles is going back to his Xerxe, and the Fnatic bot lane did well by like freezing the wave out of tower, so the OG bot lane needs to stay and push it out completely.
Because they could have just held the wave here, right?
Yeah, they could have, yeah. And then it will be pretty bad for OG, and they would probably need to like roam mid or something.
So I have noticed as well that Nukeduck is roaming around the map a lot. I do like this ward that I believe Nemesis did place, or unless it was the jungler as well. But either way, that ward does spot out some of the plays that Nukeduck is trying to make. But you can see already a massive discrepancy starting to develop in the top side of the map, with Alphari with a pretty healthy CS advantage. Xerxe now looking for a play in bot lane.
Opportunities there. He decides to tunnel over, but the recall is busy channeling, cancels it for now. Destiny's dredge line will land onto Rekkles. Lantern's available, not going to be able to go in, and Xerxe first blood.
Oh, I guess that worked. Xerxe did kind of miss his knockup, but I guess it doesn't matter. It's blue side Xerxe after all, so bot lane is unplayable as red side.
Wait, talk to me more about that. Why do you say that?
Because it's kind of same as red side Xerxe for top lane. This big wall, like Rekkles can gank you from like 3 different paths. So you need a lot of wards, and you need to play very safe, because if he ever gets behind you, you're just kind of dead.
Right.
And also Thresh started Sweeper, so they only have 1 ward for it.
Ah,
so they just,
yes.
Yeah, kind of die.
Ah, that makes sense. So, very easy early kill from Origen. Fnatic now trying to respond on the top side, but Xerxe is already on his way. Nukeduck doesn't have TP, but here comes the dive.
Yeah, Nautilus is also moving.
It's a good flash from Alphari, but the burst damage is more than enough to find that kill. Selfmade is going to be able to walk out as well. So really good dive overall from Fnatic, and they end up not getting punished off of it. Destiny will just jump into a ward, but I don't think he cares.
No, he doesn't. Dredge line, if he can find a target, there will be some follow-up, but Nukeduck used the Realm Orb from lower in the lane to just jump all the way up, and this is that unplayable bot side duo because of the Xerxe, Mickey.
Yeah, I mean, probably Philus would just like flash out of it, and the lantern should be placed like higher up so they can't ward it, and then they just have to waste 1 flash for it, yeah. But in general, the initial position that he was in was really bad. He should never have been in a position where Nautilus just gets a free hook with like no minions around or anything.
Right.
But yeah.
So what is Soraka? Well, she just kind of gets one shot.
Yeah.
This is the power of the Taliyah Pantheon that we were talking about, and the ability to set up these plays is very strong. I think we need to see Fnatic repeat this play multiple times towards the top side. We've actually got a bit of a swap coming through, and this was something we talked about in Draft, Mickey, where ideally you want the Soraka to actually play against the Ornn because you get a very easy and free laning phase, and now Origen have sent Ryze into the top lane. The fact that he still has flash means that he's probably much safer up here than the Soraka is.
Yeah, for sure. I think Fnatic could look to like swap it up again, or they could look to maybe just dive the Ryze top lane, because, well, Ornn should probably get pushed against Soraka, because he looks pretty strong right now, pretty scary, and even though Soraka should be fine against Ornn in general, since Ornn is level 6 and has ult soon, and Soraka has no flash, they can just gank him with Taliyah and kill him as well, and also Pantheon ult.
Yeah.
We're 8 minutes into the game, 1 kill apiece, gold is even. There's some CS discrepancies across the board. Is there anything you're starting to like worry about already, Mickey? Like when you see the swappers come in and how some of the decision making is played out?
Well, Soraka is still scaling, so that's a bit scary. And Xerxe, well, is actually getting kind of far ahead. Like he got a kill. Usually he should not get a kill that early, at least like on stage. In scrims sometimes it happens that Xerxe are very fed, but in scrims, I mean on stage usually they shouldn't get that far ahead.
It's fun for me because I think, you know, in the build-up, you were a little caught off surprised by the Xerxe, and then the anticipation maybe Rekkles and Hilly, slightly stronger duo, but in a 3v2, obviously, they're going to get punished, right?
Yeah. Well, they are right now pretty good in the lane still, even though they died once. They're still ahead in CS, and they still have all summoners up, so they are pretty safe. And right now they're looking for a swap and play for Herald, I guess. Yeah.
So this is a pretty standard play that you'll often see from pretty much any team. Do you think it's worth Origen trying to matching and contesting?
Yeah, for sure. Because I think Herald is like a stronger first objective than the first Drake. I think first Drake is not very relevant, since it doesn't give you that good stats. And it's going to be a different one anyway at the end, so yeah.
Before the Forge God comes down, Hylissang goes in with the flay into the death sentence. And that was about as perfect as you'd want to see.
Yeah, Mickey already talked about it earlier. Even though the Soraka has moved to mid, because you have Ornn ultimate and there's no flash on the Soraka, that dive is still very doable. I thought that they might use the Pantheon as well, but they didn't need it. Did cost the flash from Hylissang, but the kill also went on to Rekkles as well. And the thing that I was concerned about for Origen was that I'm not sure if they would have been strong enough to actually fight Fnatic at this point, just because they're playing against Pantheon Taliyah. But Fnatic made the decision pretty easy for them by just straight up murdering their mid laner. Yeah, when it comes to like decisions like this, how much planning do you think is involved versus how much do you think is just, hey, there's an opportunity here, let's just make it happen?
I mean, I think they planned it before, like as soon as Soraka burned her flash and she went mid, they probably planned like they should probably use Ornn ult to get her. I think also Tersh didn't need to use flash there, but just saying.
Hey, it guarantees the kill, Mickey.
I guess, yeah. I think it was pretty guaranteed, but better safe than sorry. But now since he has no flash, then Nautilus could look for a hook on him and he probably just dies. But I guess he has stopwatch, so maybe he doesn't die. So I think now they should probably just put their bot in mid, because they're like, Aphelios and Memef are both really good mid lane champs. Like they've cleared the wave pretty fast, and they can start playing for Drake. And yeah, probably dive the Soraka even more.
Well, listen, Mickey, we don't want to keep you too long, and we did say beforehand we're going to try to keep for the early stages of the game. So let's, project forward. You've seen 10 minutes of gameplay. I'm asking you to look into your crystal ball. What do you think is going to happen in this game over the next 10 to 15 minutes? And give me a prediction. Who do you think is going to win before we say goodbye?
Well, I think Fnatic is just going to abuse their Pantheon Talia ults and their globals, and Ornn being OP, and just probably catch Origen off guard. I think they also have a better draft, so I predict Fnatic to win.
Okay. Would you like to say goodbye to the fans at home?
Yeah. Thank you for having me, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was slightly insightful.
Mickey,
thank you so much for your insight, Mickey.
It was absolutely a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll jump back into the game right now as Fnatic were sieging the top lane. They were 1,000 gold up and 2 kills to 1. Vedius tonight will be taking over the remainder of the game. We hope everybody watching at home enjoys having a pro player's perspective. But Vedius got a pretty strong, convincing prediction there from Mickey. Let's see if it comes true.
Yeah, I mean, Mickey told us a lot of very cool things, like the influence of Xerxe on the blue side of the map and how you can use these walls and how easy it is to actually set up these dives onto champions like the Soraka. I think that Fnatic right now is playing this early game extremely effectively, but Mickey also helps set the expectation that OG don't have a huge amount of early game options. And yeah, Fnatic do. They have the Talia Pantheon, a very potent duo, and the fact that Bwipo was just able to find a solo kill onto Nukeduck is only going to make that even harder for Origen. So Fnatic right now playing the map extremely well. 9th
unique champion for Bwipo in 10 games in the 2020 season, and he manages to pick off kill. Grand Starfall is likely what we're demonstrating here. Thank you, observers, for highlighting that one. Onto a recalling Nukeduck. Oh man, he ran dead center into it.
So what Bwipo saw was that the wave had been cleared by Nukeduck, but because Bwipo had that ward in the lane, he knew that Nukeduck was basing in a brush. So he kind of had a zero loss play here where he uses his ultimate to either get to lane quicker or he's able to find a kill, and he does just that. With the Youmuu's Ghost Blade now completed, expect to see Bwipo roaming around the map a little bit more.
And of course, you can add that into whatever roaming the Weaver's Wall will happen from Selfmade. Not only did Bwipo get the solo kill up in the top lane, Mountain Drake secured by Fnatic. The next is Infernal. So we're either going to have a Cloud or an Ocean Rift once that is secured. CS differentials between Nukeduck and Nemesis, just to paint a quick picture of 10, 15-ish between them, and around 5 between Alphari and Bwipo for the time being. But look at this 5-man stack from OG. A lot of resources being thrown into the top lane just before these turret plates go down.
Meanwhile, Nemesis is just sitting isolated in the bot lane, collecting more turret plates. If we have a quick flip over to the gold, you can see that even though in the early levels he was being bullied a bit, he's staying very comparable in the gold. Selfmade has built himself a bit of an advantage. A lot of the gold is also sitting on Rekkles, but pretty much across the board, Fnatic has advantages in every single lane.
The only thing I can see that OG are doing fairly well right now is just all of this vision, thanks to that 5-man stack into the top lane. The tower is down to 2 plates as they will drop, and it looks like Nemesis continues to just bash away in the bottom lane while the rest of Fnatic are grouping up now in the mid lane. Rekkles flash is available, won't need it, we'll use the Lantern instead. And this advantage from Fnatic is there. Xerxe, he's going to tunnel over. The Flay comes down, but you can't get away from the Nautilus ultimate. Upset takes out Hilly. Dredge line goes up with Bwipo and Nemesis. That's a 2-man arrival. Call of the Forge God has been used, and Destiny will be saved by the Wish for now. And Rekkles snipes him down with the ultimate. That's an unstoppable thanks to the Bellows. Breath rather, as Nukeduck now starts to step back. Keep your eyes on Alphari. He's healing up the members of Fnatic. But the Weaver's Wall comes up and that blocks out an escape, but there's just not enough follow-up. Ends up being trade there in the mid lane.
Yeah, support for support, but it also exposes the mid lane tower, which Fnatic want to try and secure. They're not going to be able to do it because Upset's going to invest his ultimate, but you can see that Fnatic not looking to slow down this pressure. The Rift Herald is spawning soon as well, so Bwipo, he wants to try and get this wave pushed in. Fnatic want to get this wave pushed in as well, and they want to look to get a reset off as quickly as possible. If they get these two towers, they're in a great position as a hook does land.
It does indeed. Dredgeline connects onto Hilly. He's still got the flash available. Xerxe now making his way through. Remember that Nemesis and Bwipo have already used their TPs, so the support cannot come in. Hilly gets the flash, but that was the flash knocker from Xerxe. Rekkles goes golden. The Fangs are going to get sunk in, and that's a kill for Xerxe. Here comes Bwipo and Selfmade. I don't know if they want the 2v4, and they are going to back away. OG strike back.
So the map state is a bit weird right now as Bwipo wasn't completely able to push in that bot wave. And two members of Fnatic just died in the mid lane. I'm not going to say that they overstayed. I want to have a quick look at the replay once again because the hook did come out from Destiny, so Fnatic really wanted to secure that tower before leaving. Again, it was all in pursuit of this Rift Herald. They wanted to get a good reset off before actually spending all that gold and then looking to set up on the map. And we'll have a quick look at it now. You can see that, oh, this is actually the second half of the fight where the initial hook is already landed from Destiny, and Rekkles and Hylissang end up getting chased down. But a little bit prior to this, we did see them committing very hard to the tower and OG trying to force a fight when Fnatic was trying to secure that objective. But Fnatic still secured two towers. They're still first to the Rift Herald, which means they get to control the river. And at this point in the game, they're very strong. The Abyssal Mask has now been completed from Nemesis. You can also see the very early Oblivion Orb coming out from Selfmade. He's very strong. Bwipo, along with the Youmuu's Ghostblade, there are a lot of one-item power spikes that are making Fnatic very strong, and they can use this Rift Herald very quickly up towards the top lane to help break that final outer tower. So, small blunder there from Fnatic, but very little to criticize so far from their early game.
Yeah, definitely generated a lot of advantages. If they commit to this top lane tower, it may be at the cost of the Infernal Drake, because that one is spawning now in 20 seconds. They may actually have enough time with their globals. Moonlight Vigil comes up from
very
Rekkles, and
nice.
that was so nicely done. Selfmade flashes over the wall. The seismic shove won't be able to pick up the kill though, because the wish and the heals from Soraka the Unicorn are too OP.
Oh, now OG looking for another fight.
Death Sentence connects out to Nautilus as the fall of the Fortune comes down. There's the Grand Starfall. It ends up being a trade. It's a 1-for-1 for now, and the tower stays alive. Nukeduck's going to jump in with the Realm Warp, and that will be enough to push Fnatic away. So OG, they will trade back and forth despite losing a member, and Xerxe escapes for now. Flash, Death Sentence goes wide. Hilly doesn't find the target, and Xerxe will find some support from Upset in just a moment. And Fnatic's realizing the dragon is up, they start to turn back for that objective.
Yeah, Fnatic are always finding a kill just before, or a good fight just before these objectives can be contested by Origen. And while it is Origen that actually, I think, initially got that kill onto Selfmade, it ends up working out in the favor of Fnatic anyway. The TP now in from Alphari. OG and Fnatic looking for another fight.
Oh man, Cloud Rift has spawned. Selfmade's looking for the shove. That's an instantly dead Xerxe. Bullet time comes out. Alphari and Upset are going to be on the wrong side of the rift as Fnatic got themselves a Drake, got themselves a triple kill, and the Pantheon is 4-0-2. Bwipo has had some strong words for top laners this week in interviews and in our Match of the Week video, and he is stepping up to the plate in our Match of the Week.
So this is the initial play. Selfmade tries to one-shot Alphari, but you're just seeing the heal from the Wish on top of the silence means that Selfmade just ends up losing his life. However, because a lot was invested there, Fnatic see this as an opportunity to go for the re-engage. Now Nemesis, he gets a knock-up into the Ornalt, into the W. So much damage comes out from this champion, allowing Rekkles to get the kill. They do force the flash out from Upset as well, which means that Fnatic actually creates a 4 versus 4 situation because they're able to force Origen back. My big question mark comes here, because you'll notice that Ryze actually goes up to mid lane while a TP is coming in bot, and Origen are trying to shove out the bot wave as 3 people while their support is nowhere near. This play from Origen doesn't really make any sense, and it just allows Fnatic to force a very easy fight after they just secured the Drake.
Just moments before that mid lane engage happened, Vedius, Nukeduck used his teleport to catch the top lane wave. then needed to run down to the Wolf camp before realm warping to the mid lane. I can only wonder if maybe they thought he had his TP, maybe could have joined Alphari, could have been different if Ryze was there. Obviously, we won't know until we speak to the players, but nevertheless, Fnatic extend that gold lead, 4,500. 4 towers to 1, 2 dragons to 0. And at this time, I want to remind everybody that it was Origen that beat Fnatic when they played in week 1, day 1. Origen obliterated Fnatic. They had a very strong early game. They ran away with it. Fnatic are punching back 4 weeks later.
And I kind of want to bring us back to the draft, because when we think about it, both Mickey and I were very surprised to see the Soraka left open. Of course you're going to first pick that champion, but I think Fnatic did it with the intent of trading it for Ornn. There was no way OG was going to be able to get both, and because Fnatic feel very comfortable with this pick and its flexibility, you then also put Selfmade in a position where he can carry, as Hylissang will probably be chased down here, doesn't have flash.
No.
He's just... Oh, nice side step.
Stays alive for a few seconds. Bullet time doesn't take him out.
Okay.
But the dredge line does. I definitely didn't get that excited. But yes, let's go back to the Ornn points.
But yeah, so Fnatic made very calculated trades in the draft, and they could almost expect everything that Origen wanted to do. And then when we think about Origen's blue 4th and 5th pick, when they were forced into this Ryze and Xerxe champion, you're now not looking at this same late game that a Soraka normally has.
And if I can zoom out for just a moment, reminder that Andre Gehoto for Origen used to coach Mithy, the coach for Fnatic. So yes, we've got all these champion interactions, but the lane kingdom, the draft kingdom correction, the draft kingdom that we've been talking so much about this weekend and praising OG, maybe the anticipation, the preparation, the game plan that Fnatic have put together is one that's working out in their favor right now.
It's super strong because I think it pretty much covers all the bases. It offers a really strong early game. It has good late game. You have an ability to attack the side lanes, which Nukeduck... Now, when you think of Ryze, you think, okay, I'm going to keep split pushing. No one's going to be able to 1v1 me. And maybe that is the case, but I'm not convinced that it is. But even if it was, look how easy it is for Fnatic to roam as we see Selfmade caught out once again.
Yeah, absolutely the case. Death Sentence will buy some time as Destiny is the one that's caught up. The Wish has been used, and so has the Moonlight Vigil. Threaded volleys takes out one after the other. The Grand Starfall has come down. Thus far, Upset's the only one to die. Every single ultimate used on the Fnatic side. Elise was on cooldown from that previous engage, and Upset got taken down. But you see how long it takes to get through those healings that Alphari Soraka has, and now Fnatic, they're going to start the Baron.
Yeah, why not? They have a numbers advantage. Upset is dead, who's pretty much most of the damage for Origen right now. There's no way for them to contest, but here comes the Realm Warp. They're going to use it to get some vision in.
All right.
No, they won't be able to steal this. It's too late.
Not a chance. Death Sentence almost catches out Xerxe. Fnatic are in the lead in the match of the week. And just to paint a picture of what is at stake, with G2 losing today, with Misfits losing today, and with the potential of OG losing today, we will have a 4-way tie for first if Fnatic conclude this. Right now, they're setting up for the next Cloud Drake video.
And I don't think Origen is strong enough to be able to fight them. They need to rely on Destiny to engage these fights, and Fnatic just feels so much stronger right now. Look at Bwipo. He's looking for a flank.
Is indeed. Xerxe actually got pulled out after the tunnel. He does get blown up, but now take a look at the top lane. Bwipo and Nemesis, they held off 4 members of OG. Bwipo finally goes down after he's blown the flash over the wall. That's a hook there onto Destiny as he gets taken out. It's a double kill for Nukeduck, a Rekkles, Hilly, and Selfmade can still do a lot of work. It's still a 3 versus 3, but Alphari has got himself the wish. Dragon secured by Selfmade. They get the objective. They get an even kill fight, and they get out with their lives.
I'm really impressed with how Fnatic is playing around the Soraka, but we'll get to that in a second. Yes, it's a good hook initially from Destiny, and you think the chain crowd control from things like the Soraka silence and the chain CC from Nautilus will be enough to get the kill, but you can see that the dive is just unrelenting. Nautilus ultimate, the Talia wall to cut off the escape route, the Pantheon as well. It's just, you have to give so much to just keep this AD carry alive for Origen that it becomes impossible to play out these fights. But here, Fnatic was a little bit more divided. Nemesis tanks up a lot of the damage initially, while the rest of Fnatic is dealing with Xerxe. Yes, they take him out of the fight. He dies instantly, But then Origen find themselves in a convenient 4 versus 2 where they can very quickly kill the Pantheon, and they still have the Soraka on their side, which they honestly don't need initially. Then the silence comes through to help them kill the Ornn. And while it ends up being a 2 for 2, you can see just how potent this Fnatic composition is and how difficult it is for Origen to play these fights out.
How do Origen bounce back for this? We've praised Fnatic in the draft that has now led into the decision-making, but this is a 6,000 gold deficit, but they do still have Soraka and Ryze on their side. We'll get to that in a moment, as now the threat. Sorry, Weaver's wall has come down. Grand Starfaller's wall. Bwipo got a little bit stuck on the wall. That's a great dredge line, but the stun comes out. Selfmade is now taken out. Rekkles and Hilly, they jump over the wall. Junglers are dead on both sides, and Nukeduck is now caught on the wrong side of the rift. Bwipo takes him out 1 for 2 to Fnatic.
But this is exactly what we were talking about. Ryze can never split push because it's so easy for Fnatic to attack the side lanes. They appreciate how difficult it is for Origen to play this game, and they're not allowing the Soraka to be able to do what she's so good at, which is just provide so much healing in these 5v5s. Now Fnatic can threaten a dive.
Oh, they can indeed. Upset forced to flash. Alphari, he's going to run away as well. The tower's going to be the next focus. 5 of them down in favor of Fnatic. And while Nukeduck will be respawning in 10 seconds time, Fnatic have got what they wanted. Execution after draft has been so, the intent has been fantastic, and Fnatic have generated a massive, massive lead.
We're just in this situation where it's difficult to see a way in which Origen can win these fights, because I think Mickey painted the picture perfectly. The Xerxe and the Ryze don't make sense in the context of what Soraka wants to do. She's getting zoned completely out of this fight. Yes, okay, they do get that initial kill onto the Taliyah, but you can then see that Ryze is just getting completely zoned out. Fnatic have so much damage that the moment they get on top of a target, there's not enough healing to be able to keep them alive. And so I think Fnatic are just constantly looking for these fights, looking for these picks, and recognizing that Origen can do very little to stop them rolling over them.
So Fnatic, 2 minutes until the next Cloud, as well as Baron. They've got absolute control in this game. They're on the cusp of forcing a 4-way tie in first place here in the LEC. And OG, you need to try find a way back into this. It's 27 minutes on the clock. They do have some tools, but like you've mentioned so many times, the draft is just going to be so difficult to execute, especially with all the additional Ornn stats that are being provided to a team that's already ahead.
It's important to appreciate as well that Soraka, even though she's at a gold deficit, will always have value because appreciates as a champion. But if we very quickly flip over to the gold, you'll notice that Bwipo has 11.7k, which is like 4,500 more than what Alphari has. And oh look, they're attacking the side lane again.
Yeah, they are. Nukeduck is going to get run down, just completely taken out. And that's also before you add on to the fact that that Ghostblade is upgraded thanks to Ornn. So not only does it have that gold lead, there's also additional stats that aren't reflected in the gold. And with Baron and Dragon up next, this is just up to Fnatic. How do they want to win the game? Right? Is that simple?
I'd love to sit there and tell you, like, this is how Origen come back, but I just don't see a way.
and now what we're doing is we're just watching how do Fnatic close this game out.
Yeah, it really is.
They had a really good start to the game. I love the fact that Mickey was here with us, and he threw his nose up when the Xerxe was locked in and got a little like, then the first gank.
No, I just love his response is always, okay. And it's that classic pro player like, okay, this decision has confused me a lot.
But then you see the counterplay, like, okay, so the OG idea of getting the kill, great, but they went exactly like Mickey said, zoom out, look at the bigger comp, and like you've just reiterated, Vedius, with a Soraka first pick, the pieces don't all come together, and this Taliyah, this Pantheon, this Ornn, they've got all the tools they need to deal with Soraka, so this feels like potentially a last-ditch effort.
There's the Cloud Soul. OG trying to bait around the Baron, but Bwipo doesn't have ultimate. That's the saving grace right now for Fnatic. But, oh, here we go, engage comes through.
Okay, dredge line onto Nemesis, but really does it matter? Moonlight Vigil comes
That's a lot of damage.
From Rekkles, and the rest of Fnatic follows up. 1, 2, 3 quick kills. Bwipo turns back. It's a double-double. It's in and out for Fnatic as Bwipo and Rekkles are looking to clean house. Nukeduck gets taken out by Selfmade, and with 50-second death timers, it looks like Fnatic has won the match of the week. It looks like all three first-place teams after the first round robin have fallen at the first hurdle in the second round robin, and OG have been taken down by Fnatic.
Fnatic have absolutely slaughtered Origen from start to finish. There was no answer. Fnatic reign supreme.
Fnatic take down Origen and sit in first place along with G2, OG, and Misfits. Stay tuned for the end of the show because Bwipo will be joining us on PGL. Talk about those spicy picks, and I certainly hope to talk about some of those interviews, but it was extremely clear from the very first ban of this game that Fnatic knew what they wanted to do, they got their way, and they executed.
Yeah, the irony of this is in week one, Origen won because they had the better draft, right? It felt like the Fnatic had no options, and eventually Origen got to a point where they just won. Now it's the exact opposite, where Fnatic put so much thought into their draft, it felt like from beginning to end, there was no answer for Origen. It was just, the dive was extremely strong from Bwipo. I love Taliyah Pantheon as a duo. I think that overall, they played extremely well.
Congratulations to Fnatic.